Jai Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivardhari Jaya Girivardhari Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivardhari Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Braja Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Welcome everyone, especially those who came first time. As mentioned, my name is Ashoka Krishna Das, or just Ashoka. Today we will read from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 12, called Devotional Service, and verse number 9. Atha chittam samadhatum na shaknoshi maya sthiram abhyasa yogena tato mamichhaptum dhananjaya. Atha, if, therefore, Chittam, mind, Samadhatu, to fix, Na, not, Shaknoshi, you are able, Mai, upon me, Sthiram, steadily, Abhyasa yogena, by the practice of devotional service. Tataha, then, Mam,
Mam,
Me,
Me,
Icha,
Icha,
desire,
desire,
Aptum,
Aptum,
to get,
to get,
Dhananjaya,
Dhananjaya,
O winner of wealth,
O winner of wealth,
Arjuna.
Arjuna.
Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Yes, translation. My dear Arjuna, O winner of wealth, if you cannot fix your mind upon me without deviation, then follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga. In this way, develop a desire to attain me. Purport. In this verse, two different processes of Bhakti Yoga are indicated. The first applies to one who has actually developed an attachment to Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by transcendental love. And the other is for one who has not developed an attachment for the Supreme Person by transcendental love. But this second class, by the way, Prabhupada doesn't mention like second class. Second class, like it means like there's one class of people and the other just one or two. For this second class, there are different prescribed rules and regulations one can follow to be ultimately elevated to the stage of attachment to Krishna. Bhakti Yoga is the purification of the senses. At the present moment, in material existence, the senses are always impure, being engaged in sense gratification. But by the practice of Bhakti Yoga, these senses can become purified. And in the purified state, they come directly in contact with the Supreme Lord. In this material existence, I may be engaged in some service to some master, to some manager, or CEO. But I don't really lovingly serve my CEO, my master. I simply serve to get some money. And the master also is not in love. He takes service from me and pays me. So there is no question of love. But for spiritual life, one must be elevated to the pure stage of love. The stage of love can be achieved by practice of devotional service, performed with the present senses. This love of God is now in a dormant state in everyone's heart. And their love of God is manifested in different ways. But it is contaminated by material association. Now the heart has to be purified of the material association. And that dormant, natural love for Krishna has to be revived. That is the whole process, Prabhupada says. The practice, the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga, to practice them, one should, under the guidance of an expert spiritual master, follow certain principles. One should rise early in the morning, take bath, enter the temple. It's not early morning, but we are in the temple now. We just at least somehow will follow what Prabhupada is saying. And offer prayers and chant Hare Krishna. That we already have done and will also be doing later on today. Then collect flowers to offer to the deity. Cook foodstuffs to offer to the deity. Take prasadam, and so on. Usually when we take prasadam, we just do what Prabhupada says, and so on. So the practice, spiritual practice should go on and go on and go on. There are various rules and regulations which one should follow. And one should constantly hear Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam from pure devotees. This practice can help anyone rise to the level of love of God. And then he is sure of his progress into the spiritual kingdom of God. This practice of Bhakti Yoga under the rules and regulations with the direction of a spiritual master will surely bring one to the stage of love of God. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manovishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Nadati Swapadantikam Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhobhya Evacha Patitana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Chinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. So, Hare Krishna, welcome. So, this is an interesting series of verses in the 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So Krishna, while approaching to Arjuna, is saying that if you cannot fix your mind upon me without deviation, then follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga. Because meditating on Krishna, thinking of Him without deviation is the ultimate goal. Why? We will talk about it later. But in order to achieve that goal, we have to follow the principles. And in this way, develop a desire. So desire is the core. But before, Krishna is saying that it tells to Arjuna, just fix your mind upon me. Not really a big deal. The Supreme Personality of Godhead. And engage your intelligence in me. Thus you will live in me always, without a doubt. But he says, okay, if you cannot do this, then at least do what we've just read. Just follow the principles, and this desire to always thinking of me will develop. But if you cannot do even this, Krishna says further in the next verse, that if you cannot practice the regulations of Bhakti Yoga, then just try to work for me. Because by working for me, you will come to the perfect stage. Then he says, however, if you are unable to work in this consciousness for me, I mean, not like work for me means that we understand when we are working, we keep Krishna in mind. Then try to act, giving up all results of your work, and try to be self-situated. But if you cannot do even this practice, Krishna says, then engage yourself in cultivation of knowledge. And you need some knowledge. Better than knowledge, however, is meditation, he says. So then he, okay, so Arjuna might be a bit relaxed here. So okay, if you cannot do this, then do this, then do, if not this, then this, then this. And Arjuna says, oh God, okay, thanks. At least I can do. But Krishna says, wait. However, meditation is better. And better than meditation is renunciation of fruits of activities. And by such renunciation, one can attain peace of mind. So the idea here is that we should adequately understand our level. But ultimately, why are we assembled here? Just in order to remind ourselves why we are assembled here. That's the reason. So mainly here in this purport, Prabhupada is explaining what is the purpose, the goal, the ultimate goal of life. And he says that is what is the goal of life. Yeah, that was a long purport, I know, but it's basically love of God. That is the goal, but there is also the practice which leads to that. And of course, we should adequately understand where we are, on which level in that practice. And thus, and by understanding this, while understanding this, Krishna is giving these steps. But then once Lord Chaitanya, he asked Sarabhava Bhattacharya, please tell me about Krishna. But he told him, you know, dear Lord, I'm unqualified. Please go and ask Ramananda Roy. And Lord Chaitanya said, okay, that sounds as a good idea. So he went to the Godavari river, took bath in it, and started chanting Hare Krishna. It is also interesting that Lord Chaitanya is giving us an example of the pure motivation. That in order for him to chant Hare Krishna, he doesn't really require an audience. Because we, like Kirtaniers, sometimes are invited to some festivals and no people are coming, and then one might be a bit upset, oh, no people are there, I will just sing with walls. But Lord Chaitanya isn't conditioned by this. He just took bath in the holy river and just started chanting Hare Krishna, and then sat down meditating. And while he was doing that, Ramananda Roy, while being followed by thousands of brahmanas, even though he initially himself is from Shudra background, he was a ruler of this area. And he was a pure devotee of Krishna. And thus he noticed a very shiny, beautiful looking sannyasi. So he immediately bowed down in Dandavat in front of him. Lord Chaitanya noticed him. They embraced one another and started feeling that is the pure devotee, and that was a mutual feeling. And Ramananda Roy, he just told him that, dear Lord Chaitanya, I'm unqualified. I'm just from the Shudra background. But that is actually the story where Lord Chaitanya will actually say this famous verse, Kiba Vipra Kibra Nyasi Shudra Kenanoi. Hey Krishna Tattva Veti Sei Guru Hoy. So he says that who has the knowledge of Krishna, it doesn't matter if you're Vipra, if you're Nyasi, if you're Brahmana or Sannyasi, or even you are Shudra, it doesn't matter. If you have the knowledge of Krishna, then you are qualified to be Guru. Then you're qualified to teach, to tell people about Krishna. And at the same time, Lord Chaitanya said, but I'm unqualified myself. I'm just a sannyasi mayavadi, you know. So I want to hear from Krishna, about Krishna from you, he said. And then Lord Chaitanya told him, please quote a verse about the goal of life. He said. Then Ramananda Roy started reciting. And he started saying about that if we want to worship Lord Krishna, we do it properly by execution of prescribed duties in the system of our ashram. He starts to say like this. There is no other way of satisfying Supreme Personality of Godhead. One must be situated in the institution of 4 varnas and ashramas. Lord Chaitanya said, well, that's good, but a bit too external. Just go on. I know you can go deeper, Lord Chaitanya said. And then he says, so basically he starts quoting another verse. Yad karoshi yadashnasi, yad juhoshi dadasi, yad tapaisesi kauntaya, tat kurushva madarpana. So that is the next verse right after the one which the lecture was given last Sunday feast. It was about patram pushpam padam toyam. That what Krishna accepts as offering. But here he says that whatever you offer me, whatever you do, he says, whatever you eat, whatever you sacrifice, just offer the results of such activities to me, he said. So, thus, Ramananda Roy quotes this, and Lord Chaitanya still is a bit dissatisfied. He says, that's okay, but please proceed. That's still a bit too external. And then he says, Jnane prayasa mudavasya namanta eva jivanti sanmukharitam bhavadiya vartam sthane sthitakshruti gatam tanovan manobhi ye prayasa jita jitopya sita strilokyam. One of my favorite verses, which I also quite often quote, but here Ramananda Roy is also quoting this. He goes to the next level, that whatever you do, he says. So actually, when we read through those verses in Bhagavad Gita, they are going like a step downwards. But here it goes a bit the other way around. So Ramananda Roy starts from the preliminary stages, but he wants to hit up Lord Chaitanya, and Lord Chaitanya says, like, okay, proceed, go deeper and deeper. And then he says here that whatever state of consciousness, whatever position you have in this world, so you have to perform your duties and engage your tanu, body, vak, speech, and manobhya, manas, the mind, your consciousness. You have to engage in hearing about Krishna. Then ye prayasa jita jito yasitaya strilokyam. In this way, you will be able to conquer the one who is unconquerable. And Lord Chaitanya still is dissatisfied with this. He said, please proceed. I know you know much more about it. And then Ramananda Roy goes deeper and deeper. He says that Krishna, even though in Bhagavad Gita Krishna says that in whichever way you do something for me, you act for me, I reciprocate accordingly, he says. However, then Ramananda Roy says that Gopi of Vrindavan, they have such a deep feeling. They do so much service with such deep love for Krishna, that Krishna always feels indebted. He's just unable to reciprocate accordingly. In this case, it just doesn't work. And then Lord Chaitanya says, yes, you're getting into something. But please proceed, he says. And then Ramananda Roy starts speaking about Rasa Lila, the utmost Lila manifestation of the highest level of love, where hundreds of gopis are dancing in the forest of Vrindavan. And then it is said that Krishna manifested for every couple of gopis. It was he manifested was one copy of Krishna. He just spread himself like this. However, he says that there is even deeper and highest level of love, and that is the love for Srimati Radharani, he says. And for Radharani, he manifests only for her, one person, as one copy of Krishna, and he manifested for Srimati Radharani. But at the same time, he feels such a deep love and affection for her. But he cannot manifest it right there, because there are like hundreds of other gopis dancing around. And but Srimati Radharani understands this and starts to feel a little bit angry. And what she does? She leaves the forest. She just leaves. And Krishna starts feeling this separation, this pain of missing her right away. And he just leaves all the gopis in searching for Srimati Radharani across the whole forest, and cannot find him, and just sits down with the whole disappointment. And Ramananda Roy is explaining all that intensity of feelings that the dwellers of spiritual world are feeling. And that gives the full satisfaction to Lord Chaitanya. You can read yourself. I encourage you to read that wonderful Leela. How Lord Chaitanya, being Lord himself, reciprocates with his dearmost devotees like Ramananda Roy, without even taking into account his position, his varna, caste, or whatever. What he sees in Ramananda Roy is his deep and pure devotion to the Supreme Lord. That is the real treasure, real jewel. And when speaking about this, that is the goal. That is something that we should understand and hold within our heart as a goal. But at the same time, there is practice that leads us to that. And that practice might always and already include all of that. Because Nama Chintamani Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha, it is said in Nectar of Devotion, that the Nama, the holy name of Krishna, is Chintamani, is the ultimate treasure. Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha, it's full of consciousness, Chaitana Rasa Vigraha, and thus it's full of reservoir of all the flavors, all the feelings. And it's not different from Krishna. and absolutely pure. And that is the process, but at the same time, we don't feel that taste now. But Rupa Goswami says, in order for us to develop that taste, we should just go on and practice it. And come together and practice it together. Chant the holy names. And together, the intensity of the process is much, much larger. And Krishna is more merciful, and he likes it more when we do it together. But at the same time, as you mentioned, that it's the gradual process, and we should adequately understand where we are. And maybe at some point we just might feel like, okay, so this I'm a bit unqualified and unable to follow, but at least this I will. But in order for us to make that proper decision of what I'm able or unable to follow, we should follow the authorities, the seniors, the guru, the qualified guru, as it says. Because otherwise, if we make decisions just on our own, then it might be like, oh, I'm unable to do all that. Because we together with Gaur Gopal, for example, Prabhu, we go to the climbing. That's a super fun activity. So from now on, I will dedicate the rest of the lecture to the climbing. I'm just kidding. Why I gave that example? Because initially, if one is asked, like two, they want to join us in the climbing, and two might say, "Oh, I don't know anything about climbing. I'm just completely unqualified in doing that." And but at the same time, one might think of the process in general. But then one just brings the body into the climbing center. You're already there. And then you start discriminating in a different way. You see, okay, so this I'm already able to do probably. I'll try doing this. But this I see that I'm not yet able. So I'll probably need to train my grip and balance and whatever in order to make this a path. But this one I'm able to do, so I will do it. So this way I have a goal that I want to be a good climber. And in this way I start practicing and doing something, follow something, training and get the grip and everything, and then I'm able to do this, this and this. But in order for us, thing is that when we have the goal in front of us, then we consider things, what I can and what I cannot, in a bit different way, in a more like a challenging mood. So maybe that I'm not super able to do, but it's kind of a challenge. Let me do that, because I know that this is the goal, and this is a very valuable goal. And when Ramananda Roy is telling about this goal, about love, so he also mentions that there are 5 levels of this love. That is Shanta Rasa, Dasya Rasa, Sakya Rasa, Vatsalya Rasa, and Madhurya Rasa. So Shanta means the Shanta, just equal, peaceful relation to Krishna. Yeah. Then Dasya Ras means what? Means
slave.
Huh?
Slave.
Well, not really slave, but like servant.
Service, yeah.
Yeah. We try to discriminate between like slave and servant in the way that slave might do their service unwillingly, but service means that we are willingly doing something out of love, out of feeling for the person. And Sakya Ras means what? yeah, friendly love, love of a friend. Then Vatsalya Ras means what? What is Vatsalya Rasa?
Child lila.
Yeah, child lila, motherhood lila, like parental lila. And Madhurya Rasa, what is it? Conjugal love. Yeah. And he says that all of these stages, all of, not like stages, but types of love, every consequent type of love includes the other one. He gives also a beautiful comparison there, but I again encourage you to read through that conversation yourselves, and also the uncompromising purpose of Srila Prabhupada. It's very, very beautiful.
As in, like, they are in order. It's a hierarchy.
Kind of, one can say like that. On one hand, they are like separate rasas, but at the same time, every consequent one includes the other one. Yes. And when we speak about these rasas, there is also, we mentioned the Madhurya rasa, this intensity of Madhurya rasa love. But at the same time, there is also parental love. And when we speak about the process of surrendering, the process of devotional service, then there are two parts, and two parts, let's say, of the devotional service. One is what we do ourselves, and the other one is the mercy of Krishna. So our own endeavor and mercy. That is because the process is not of developing, like for example, if we want to pump the muscles, then we know we eat protein, we pump the iron and whatever. And there is the gradual process, we know what we are doing. But at the same time, when we are speaking about developing of love of Krishna, that's not exactly works like a muscle, let's say, because we are speaking about the relationship with the utmost person, Krishna himself. If we consider him as a personality which we want to develop the relationship with, then it's not one-sided. Everything is anyway dependent on him. And because Prabhupada says in this purport that we, as living entities, the souls, we have that dormant love. And we're able to revive it in that process. So we act, and Krishna, by our act, Krishna sees our sincerity. And when he sees, then he reciprocates. Or not, he decides. And these two parts of devotional service are depicted by a wonderful lila of Krishna and Mother Yashoda. And now, today, I guess that is today, right? That we start, the Kartika month starts.
On Tuesday.
On Tuesday, is it? Not today. Okay, so on Tuesday, the Kartik already starts. And Kartik is a special month when we try to work on our sincerity, because we understand that process is about relationship. And then even though we might have some stable practice in our life, in our everyday life, we might still make some extra endeavor. Like let's say, I will not eat and will not drink anything the whole month. I'm just kidding. Or I will just... yeah, exactly. Or I will just, wake up not at 7 but 9:50, 6:59 or something. So just, it might be small endeavor, but we might consider something that we might do for Krishna. Whatever we are able to do, and we just give a vrata, we give a vow that Krishna, this month I will do that, because I do care, I want to develop relationship with Krishna. So we sometimes, for example, give the general vrata might look like we usually sing a beautiful bhajan every day called Ashoka, and that is explaining the beauty of Krishna, Damodara, the son, the small Krishna, son of Mother Ashoka. And that lila is actually showing this, the way that Krishna was such a mischievous boy. He used to steal butter, yogurt from the neighboring gopis. They would make it with love, and they would say like, "Oh, Krishna again," and like try cursing him, like Krishna again. But then inside their heart, they felt that very deep satisfaction. Oh, Krishna took yogurt. Yeah, because everyone in the neighborhood loved Krishna. But at the same time, Mother Yashoda, in order to show her parental love, wanted to chastise Krishna and started like running after him. And it was difficult for her because he was small, he could run here and there. For her, like being a grown-up mother, it would be a bit more difficult. But still, when Krishna felt that, okay, so she already surrenders, it's her sincere desire to catch Krishna, then he surrenders, okay, he makes it the way that she catches him. And then she tries to tie him to the mortar. And that doesn't really work. She tries to tie him with the rope, but always like 2 fingers of the rope is not enough. Let me try it. If I can do it with my chadar, so it kind of, so it kind of works for me for chadar, but for her it didn't. And she started asking for more and more rope across all the Vrindavan gopis. They would give her the rope, but still wondering why does she need so much rope. And then so that is her service, that is her desire of service to Krishna as a parent, as a mother. And when Krishna sees that sincerity, that strong desire, and that surrendering, then Krishna says, okay, now there is my mercy, and then she is able to tighten ultimately Krishna. So that is the very beautiful Leela which we meditate on during that Kartik month, and we sing that beautiful song, and we offer the ghee lamps to Damodar. I guess we already have, or not, the picture of Damodar. Do we have anywhere?
We had, but it's not up yet.
Not up, but yeah.
We have, definitely.
Yeah. So during this month we will be offering lamps. It's good if you are doing it every day at home and sing that bhajan. But we will anyway do it here on the Sunday feast. I saw that there are some lamps were being prepared like before the Sunday feast.
Yeah.
Because Lajavati told me that we would do it today, or should we just do it when the Kartik actually will start?
We can start it, of course. But,
If we are not ready for that, we might start doing it next Sunday. It's not a big deal. But then, yeah, just keep in mind that Kartik is starting, and think for yourself, what can you do more for Krishna? And that for sure will benefit your spiritual life very strongly. I'll stop here. Are there any questions or comments?
I love that mantra that you mentioned. Can you repeat it one more time?
Which one? I mentioned.
Chintamani.
Nama Chintamani.
Yes.
Krishna, Chaitanya Vasudeva.
Word by word.
Huh?
Word by word.
Word by word.
Yeah.
I'll just send you the shloka. If you want to sing it, it will be wonderful on next Saturday night kirtan. Yeah, we're also having every last Saturday of month. We are having our kirtan night event, so everyone is very welcome there. It's a very lively event when we absorb ourselves with the chanting of holy names together. Any other questions or comments? Please.
So you mentioned in the purport of Prabhupada mentions about serving a master, or as you said, CEO or a boss.
Yeah.
So what is your suggestion during Kartik when we are getting stressed at work and we forget who's boss and we get stressed and I need to please my master? How to get out of or how to remember Krishna?
I mean, if you feel stressed during the work, join our climbing team. But yeah, the thing is that it will be less stress if we always remember what we are doing and why. And if we see the ultimate connection of our activities, of our work, everyday family activities, to Krishna, to our spiritual path towards love for Krishna, it will give much more meaning to what we are doing. Because when Prabhupada is saying here, I simply serve to get some money. But then it's also about speaking about nature. As my personal observation and experience over my working career, so to say, is that when I have the servitor attitude, that I feel the satisfaction when I serve the society and I see the connection with Krishna. I do my contribution, I see that that contribution makes others happy, and that gives me satisfaction. And that servitor attitude might give you also a positivistic view on what my nature is. If I'm already like negative, I don't want this, I don't like that, and only just have negativistic view on things, then it will be hard to find what you really like to do. But whether you like things or not, ultimately you should connect it with Krishna. You should understand the meaning. Not only just, I want to support myself, I need money, that's why I do, or go and do whatever. It might work somewhat, but ultimately one wants to connect. But it's hard, as also it is mentioned that if you cannot fix your mind upon me without deviation. So without deviation is the key problem, that we cannot always think about Krishna and connect whatever we do to Krishna and with spiritual growth. That's we should combine our activities, not only do our everyday work, but we should combine them with the straight angas of devotional service. So we should come to the temple, we should go to the holy places, listen to sadhus speaking about Krishna and spiritual topics. We should chant holy names together. These are the straight angas, which we do, and we directly do it for Krishna. We don't do it for other things. We might still have that consciousness, I will pretend that I'm so spiritual, I will just chant Hare Krishna, but my motives are like to get some position, to be recognized by other. No, it's not the case. Ultimately we come here to work on our own sincerity. But all of us help one another to work on that sincerity and to remind that this is the goal, not the position, not the recognition, but love. Any other questions? Anyway, we'll stop here. It's getting a bit late. Then we will have some standing kirtan now, and then prasadam, and then as Prabhupada saying, so on. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Premanande.